Sopranos star slams Top Gun Maverick. This is fucking mental. This is fucking batshit crazy, this topic, man. I read it and I'm like, what? To the point where I brought up Matthew Perry and his memoirs that he released in book form where he was criticising Keanu Reeves, because that was the best sort of analogy that I could come up with in my mind about what Robert Iller, I think his name is doing in this sort of rant about Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick. It's just utterly insane, bizarre, mental to me. I'll get into it. As you can see here, we'll go up at the top. We'll go up at the top and just do it right, like eating fucking McDonald's. Sopranos star slams Top Gun Maverick, says it ruined movies. He had this to say. He spoke with, I think it was YMH Clips. It was posted a segment from one of their podcasts where Illa, I think that's how you say his name, Illa, expresses his dislike for, I've never seen The Sopranos, so I couldn't tell you, for Top Gun Maverick's box office success. I mean, it's such a strange one to criticise this film because there has been so many utterly shite films released in the last 2-3 years, during the pandemic, post-pandemic. So to go after this one is really fucking weird to me. I really enjoyed Top Gun Maverick. It was a great film. Really uplifting, enjoyable story, lots of stunning action, just connecting the previous movie really well, and the music was great too. It was just like a little zeitgeist moment for Tom Cruise and just the people behind the film. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fucking brilliant film. I thought it deserved its Oscar nomination, and it really shut the trend you usually see where sequels end up being worse than the actual original movie. I think this is better than the original movie. I really enjoyed it. So it's a strange one, but I'll read what he had to say. It really does go off in quite the rant about Top Gun Maverick. Hyperbolic nonsense, I say. I think Top Gun ruined the whole movie industry. Really? I think fucking injecting politics into every single artistic project is ruining movies and ruining multiple industries in general. Just keep them out of it. And we're having this debate just now about the whole Palestine thing in football, and I'm conflicted with it because the club I support were founded on a political sort of mandate. They were there to feed the poor, and it was almost like a political weapon, the club that I support, Celtic. But then there's the whole thing about tone and how you're dealing with and bringing politics into that sphere in sports. Is it the right environment for it? And it's the same with film. Do people really want to have an hour, 2 hours of entertainment sullied by you bringing in all of the fucking modern day bollocks and politics and ills of the world into that sort of safe haven? I don't think they do, man. I think you just want to go there to be entertained. So just stop doing it. I think that's ruining the movie industry, to be quite frank. And look, I'm quite liberal when it comes to my political views. I'm a left-wing, borderline socialist liberal. So I'm one of the people who should be fucking jumping about, doing star jumps with whatever the fuck those cheerleader things are. But I'm not. Keep it out of film. Digresses. He goes on to say this. I think it ruined everything. It will save the industry for 4 or 5 years because people are like, oh, this is it. It's like eating fucking McDonald's or eating fucking trash food, and then all of a sudden people are going to turn around in 4 years and go, why do I feel bad? Because you just watched garbage fucking movies. He likes to swear, man. He likes to swear more than I do, which is quite impressive. Just like a fucking McDonald's thing makes you feel good for 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're going, oh, wait a minute. 90 Day Fiancé is fucking great because nobody is putting 90 Day Fiancé up for a fucking Oscar. You go, hey, do you want to watch a shit TV show? Watch 90 Day Fiancé. We know what it is. I'm mad that people told me it was a good movie, that it get nominated for an Oscar, and then I put it on expecting a fucking Oscar-worthy movie, and it was guys walking in just like, hey, fucking zinger, what are you on my six for? And he's like, hey, bro, if you told me and you to sit in a fucking room and write Top Gun 2, there was nothing original about that movie. I disagree with it. I think it was actually quite clever in its construct. I liked what they did. I thought it was quite smart, and the way they were connecting the sort of his friend and the son and try to bring him on, and he was almost like a mentor figure. I thought it was a really interesting way to structure a sequel. I thought it was quite smart. Maybe he could have done a better job though. Maybe we should get this guy in to write more films for Hollywood. Maybe he can solve the superhero problem I was just talking about. Maybe this guy is the sort of messiah-like figure who's going to come in and save the industry. Christopher Nolan can't do it apparently, neither can Martin Scorsese. Maybe it's this guy who can come in and save the industry. He's been here all along and we've just been missing him. Where was I? There's nothing that you go, oh wow, that, and I didn't see that coming. That was interesting. Was there anything interesting about the whole movie? Yeah, the action was incredible. The relationships at points were very, very well done. The music was great. It was a really just borderline earworm inducing movie, just from a purely audio standpoint. And it lived in the memory. I've watched the film a couple of times now and it's got great rewatchability, so I think there was a lot of things interesting about the film. But what is it? It's like I said previously, it's all subjective. Ultimately, it's all subjective. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and you can't expect everyone to love the same thing. It'd be a very boring world if we were all into the same things. This is my point. He goes on to say, 5 years from now, people are going to go, oh my God, we said this should be the fucking best movie ever because we were fucking coming out of COVID in a fog. No one ever says it was the best movie ever, mate. I don't think anyone was ever championing this to win a best Oscar. I think there was a lot of people getting their panties in a twist about it getting nominated for an Oscar, which I think was absolutely fine because it was one of the best movies of the calendar year. And that's kind of the whole point of Best Picture. You nominate the best pictures of the calendar year. But yeah, I don't think anyone thought it was the best movie ever. That's just hyperbolic drivel. I don't know what COVID's got to do with it and a fog. It's fine if the movie makes you happy, but then to say Oscar, best movie, putting it in a category like The Godfather, no one's putting it in a category like The Godfather. This guy is fucking crazy. I says it, man. Batshit crazy. This geezer is ranting about nonsense. It ruined the entire movie industry. It didn't. That's it. I don't want to watch movies anymore. Top Gun made me hate movies. Garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. Now look, man, I understand. Jokes aside here. The context could be lost. This is a podcast and it's been put into actual written form and we're losing the nuance. We're losing the way he's vocalising things. He could be joking here. This could be a joke, man. I don't know this guy. He may be a really funny fucking guy. I hope he is joking because it is just hyperbolic bullshit. It wasn't fucking garbage. It's not ruined the movie industry. There's a lot of things ruining the movie industry right now. A chronic lack of innovation, an inability to create fucking interesting films on a core level, independent films outside of A24. Is anyone doing it? I'd argue they're not. Is outside of A24 Christopher Nolan and Tarantino, who's about to retire? I'd definitely argue not. So I hope it's a joke, man. But as I did say, this is what I likened it to. I likened it to Matthew Perry. Just gunning for Keanu Reeves in his memoirs. I think this was from a year ago. It was the first thing that came into my head. I'm like, this is just so fucking crazy what I'm reading here. It makes no sense. And you're picking on a really strange target. And the first thing it conjured up, as I say, is Matthew Perry, Keanu Reeves. When he says, and I quote, I'm going to find it, talking about River Phoenix, who was friends with Keanu Reeves, by the way. I searched him up. I think River worked with Matthew on a movie. By no means do I think he was in his friends group. Keanu Reeves was an actual friend of River Phoenix. You look at the images, just a 2-minute search, and he's in about 50 different images with River Phoenix. They're young, they're up and coming, they're partying, they're fucking inseparable. He's hugging him at one point in an image. So they're very close friends by the looks of it. So it's a really strange target for the get-go. But he went on to say this, and this is my analogy to what this guy just says. It's just out of order and fucking manic. River was a beautiful man, inside and out. Too beautiful for this world, it turned out. It always seems to be the really talented guys who go down. Why is it that the original fingers like River Phoenix and Heath Ledger die, but Keanu Reeves still walks among us? It's mental. When I read that back in the day, I was like, what the fuck? He's going on, Matthew. What are you doing? Why are you attacking Keanu Reeves? He's one of the nicest guys on the planet. A humble, down to earth, brilliant guy. No one's saying he's River Phoenix level of acting. He wouldn't even admit that. He doesn't think that. He's a very solid action actor. But he's a cool guy, man. And really strange to attack him in that way. And in my mind, it's the same thing with Top Gun Maverick, to put all of the ills of the movie industry in 2023 onto the shoulders or in a target with Top Gun Maverick on it and be fucking just plastering it with an AK-47 like it's his fault. It's just a really strange target, really strange rant, and ultimately hyperbolic nonsense. So I hope he was joking. I hope it wasn't serious. But if it was, then my fucking God, man, we've got more problems. He's got more problems than I can answer for. He needs a therapist.